Hey Dad, Mom, Jacob, Amanda, Teddy, and Alex. I miss y'all. I wish I could be there for Christmas, but I can't. So, knowing our family tradition of reading poems and other short literary works on Christmas Eve, I thought, well, maybe if I recorded myself reading a few poems, that you guys could play them in between when you guys are reading poems. And it won't feel like I'm so far away, and maybe it feels like we're a whole family again, because I know that everyone's there for Christmas this year except for me. And yeah, this was my Christmas present. So I'll tell you ahead of time what I'll be reading, so that you don't go ahead and read it before I read it. I will be reading Annabell Lee. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. And sorry, Dad, I have to read this one myself this year. The Cremation of Sam McGee. Thank you for making it a favorite of mine. So, Merry Christmas, and I really hope you guys enjoy this. So, bright blessings, and till we can see each other again. Annabell Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabell Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabell Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabell Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabell Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabell Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabell Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabell Lee. And so all the night tide I lay down by the side, my darling, my life and my pride. Sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sea. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, by Francis Farcellus. Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon, 115th West 95th Street. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect. An ant, in his intellect, as compared with the boundless world around him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith in, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as not as well believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even then, if they do not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not, but that's no proof that they are not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders that are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle to see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain, view and picture the supernatural beauty and glory beyond. It is all real, all Virgina. In all this world, there is nothing else real and above. No Santa Claus, thank God, he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. Though he'd often say, in his homely way, that he'd sooner live in hell. On Christmas Day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold, through the parka's fold, stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close, then the lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed, and the stars, oh hag, were dancing heel to toe, he turned to me, and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking you, won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. Then he says with a sort of moan, it's the cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through the bone. Yet 'tain't been dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pangs. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. Well, a pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh, and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, "You may tax brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate my last remains." It is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern cold. In the days to come, though my lips were numb in the heart, how I cursed that load. In the long, long night, in the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathe the thing! And every day that quiet clay seems to heavy and heavier grow. And on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. And the trail was bad, and I had felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw it thrice, and it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and though a bit, I thought at my frozen chum. And then here, I said with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see. Then I borrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so, and the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why, and the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear. The stars came out, and they danced about, ere again I ventured near. But I was sick with dread, and I bravely said, I'll just take a peek inside. I guess he's cooked. And it's time I looked, and then I opened the door wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I've left Plumtree in Tennessee, it's the first time that I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun for the men that moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge I cremated Sam McGee.